The artist role in society is extremely important. But it's just so important to explore your creativity, because when you start doing that, you start exploring a part of your inner world, of your inner essence that you can't experience in this external reality. And you start finding bits and pieces of your truth. And it becomes a part of your individuality in a way. So you, by being creative and by expressing your artistic abilities, you get to develop this individuality in a very beautiful way and share that essence with others. And by sharing our truth and our uniqueness, we activate others to do the same. And I mean, there's so many different ways to express yourself and to create. When I was growing up, I spent a lot of time in nature with my family. Both my parents are nature enthusiasts. So there was a lot of playing and adventuring in the forest during my childhood, and I have the most vivid memories from this time of me and my sister playing with the fairies and making food and soups for the trolls and being all in this sort of fantasy fairy world, which both my grandparents actually talked a lot about. So it was very magical in that sense. And I started exploring my creativity in my mid-20s. Just spontaneously one night I started doodling, and from this little doodling on a paper, it turned into painting on a canvas, and then these big landscapes looking like they would come from this cosmic world somewhere out in a far distant universe would be created. And then I went to Australia to study visual arts. I studied a diploma of visual arts for a year, and I was intending to continue studying visual arts, but I decided that it was not my path to do the whole school thing. I wanted to explore and develop my creative expression by myself, because I felt that I already had my sort of signature way of doing things, and I wasn't really able to develop that in the sort of educational system that they had on the school that I was attending. And then it all just grew from there. So when I ended my little school journey, that is when the Galactic talismans came to life. And I started working more intimately with the mineral kingdom and crystals primarily, and they became the centerpiece of these little beings that I started channeling and creating, and then that went from being these beautiful little necklaces into actual sculptures, and then expanding from that space. The best piece of advice that I can possibly ever give you is that everything starts from within, and you are the most important person in your life. I mean, nature is so important and such a big part of my life, and it's definitely an inspiration, I would say, because I'm surrounded by it, and I have a very beautiful relationship with the trees and the plants and all the elementals. So I definitely want to integrate and say that they are a big part of my process. And I work very intimately with minerals and crystals. I always integrate that into my sculptures. If it is a personalized being that I'm doing, I tune into the essence of the person that I'm working with, and then I also integrate intentions That is a big part of my creation process because it has a purpose, everything that I create. And the main intention is to enhance and shine light onto the person's individuality and their own truth. The talismans are little activators. Their intended purpose is to activate the being or the person that has one to explore themselves and their inner world in whatever way is the most suited to them. It's about discovering this other aspect of life which we can't see or experience in the external world. So it works on subtle, energetic levels within our being.
Well, first of all, you need some good materials to sculpt. And it would be good to possibly decide what kind of materials do you want to use. Do you want to use something organic from nature, or do you want to go out and buy something that's man-made? It would be good maybe to just start with an air drying clay. I would suggest to do that because it's quite cheap. It only takes a day for it to harden, and you can play around and experiment as much as you want. And maybe you need some tools to shape and mold your creation. That could be good as well. And there's different kinds of tools, but when you're starting out, just get the cheapest stuff. That works fine for a long time, actually. And you can actually make your own tools as well. By picking up sticks in nature, and you get different textures and stuff. Just like you can use anything really to texturize and shape and mold your creation. And then I would just go with your intuition, go with your feeling. You don't necessarily need to recreate something that already exists. I suggest you don't do that, because if you want to create to get to know yourself a little bit, just experiment. Just grab a piece of clay and shape it into whatever you're feeling. If you want to make a flower, if you want to make a face, whatever you feel like doing, do it. I got so many different dream projects, and there is a lot There's a lot developing at the moment, and it is all related to this world, which I'm relating a lot to when I talk about my artworks, and that is the Galactic Garden. And if you're interested in knowing about this world, you can go and check out my Instagram, because I post everything that I do there, my whole entire journey, and a lot about my own inner journey as well. I'm sharing on my Instagram. I'm working on the Galactic talismans at the moment. That is my main focus. And they are the sculptures that you are looking at right now. And these little beings, they are either made as a necklace or as a freestanding sculpture. And most of them are personalized and commissioned. And they're also being created with the person in mind, and with different intentions when they're being born. Each being comes from the Galactic Garden, and they all have a very unique and beautiful message and story that they share with us once they are fully birthed into this world.